UGC Protocol is a cryptocurrency platform that's designed to generate between 0.5% and 3.3% daily profits paid directly to your wallet. Guys, that statement alone has intrigued and gotten everybody I've talked to, okay, into this business, okay? That one statement alone, the possibility of earning 0.5% to 3.3% daily profits, and not in some back office that you got to request money and wait 3 days and hopefully they don't shut down. No, these are paid directly into your wallet every single day, 7 days a week, okay? Very powerful statement. That should be enough information for you guys to drive everyone to one of these Zoom calls to learn more, okay? That's how you're going to grow your business. So if you think you could do that, welcome to UGC, because it really is that easy, okay? You can start with as little as $10 and you could use that to scale up to $20,000, or you could participate with any amount in between, okay? The choice is yours. Now, do you have to start big? Do you have to mortgage your home? Absolutely not. We do not recommend anybody do that. But you know what? Should you get started right away? Absolutely, because by getting started right away, even with $10, you're going to build belief in the system that's going to allow you to participate even higher, or allow you to talk to others about it, because you're going to see money go into your back office wallet every single day, and you're going to say, this is the best thing I've ever seen, okay? At the end of this presentation, I'm actually going to take you on a tour of my wallet and my business, and I'll show you how everything is tracked for you, okay? You can start with
I'm a gold member. I just need to discuss that.
Hey, sorry, guys, if you can mute yourself, I would appreciate that. So this, let me see, you can start with as little as $10 or scale up to $20,000, making this a powerful additional income stream within your portfolio. This is what UGC is. This is a Web3 system that provides access to a massive liquidity pool through 3 smart contracts. You may know what that is. You may not know what that is. When I got started here, I did not know what that was, okay? But I've learned about what they are, and I absolutely love it. I didn't even know they existed. But in this presentation, you're going to understand how you earn from that, okay? An opportunity that would traditionally require millions of dollars in capital to access, okay? Everything is fully transparent in this business. The liquidity pool is right there on your back office, and it gets updated every second, okay? The contracts, the smart contracts, are right there in your back office. You can download them, you can verify them, you can send them to any crypto expert in the face of this earth, and they'll tell you that they're good, okay? I've had numerous people verify those contracts and come in because they verified them and they loved them, okay? Just 1 second. I'm going to make sure that everyone is muted here, if I can do that somehow, some way. 1 second. Sorry that I have to do that, but I want to be able to present this and not get interrupted. There we go. I hope I didn't mute myself. All right. If you guys can stay muted, that would be great. I'm going to open up the floor later on and we can ask any questions you want, okay? You can ask any questions and I will try to answer them. So this is one of the unique things of the business that I love. Everything is fully transparent, okay? Even when you earn money, it's tracked in your back office, but it's placed in your personal wallet, okay? Instantly and directly, okay? Already a breath of fresh air compared to a lot of the different opportunities and businesses that are out there, okay? Now, each person or each position, so each level that you guys want to invest or participate in, okay, operates on a 200% fulfillment model, okay? What does that mean? You're going to learn about that in a second. That basically means that if you invest $10, the company is obligated to double your money. If you invest $1,000, it'll double your money. If you invest $20,000, it will double your money. I'm going to show you how it's going to do that. And when you do receive double your money, that could take a week, that could take a month, that could take a year. It all depends on certain things in the company, and I'm going to show you all that. But when you do double your money, you have a choice at that point, right? You can reinvest the same amount to earn double again. You can scale up, which means you could invest the amount that you made, which is the original investment plus 100%, right? Or you can move on because the money's already in your personal wallet. So you can do with it what you want. So you remain fully in control, not only of your money, but of the strategy that you employ in this business. Okay? There are 3 engines of earnings that you're going to learn about. Number 1, we talked about already. Every single day, 7 days a week, based on your participation level, you are going to earn 0.5% to 3.33% per day. They forgot to put the 0.03 in there, but 3.33% per day paid directly to your wallet. That's the engine number 1. So every day money is going to go into your wallet and it's going to go towards fulfilling this 200% contract. Okay? There's a Unilevel bonus here. This is rewarding the people who are helping UGC raise its liquidity pool, okay, the amount in the liquidity pool, by telling others about this amazing opportunity. What are you telling people? You're telling them that they can earn 0.5% to 3.3% a day, right? That's simply what you're telling them in this model. They can learn about all this stuff when they come to the Zoom, when you invite them to the Zoom. But that's what you're telling them. And if they're interested, they'll come to the Zoom, and they'll learn about all these other engines that add money to your 200% fulfillment. Once your 200% is fulfilled, you have a choice, right? You can reinvest, you can scale up, or you can take your money and go spend it somewhere else, right? It's your money anyways. It's already in your wallet, okay? I know I'm repeating that, but I need you to at least understand these key points by the end of this presentation, okay? This Unilevel bonus is tremendous because if you open your mouth and you tell people about it, you will earn 5% of their initial investment into UGC. But not only their initial investment, how many people do you think are going to reinvest into the system once they've doubled their money? How about everybody? Well, almost everybody, right? Maybe 98, 99, 95% of people are going to reinvest to earn again, right? You want to earn again and again and again and again. When they reinvest or reparticipate in this business, guess what? You get that 5% over and over and over again. So imagine you opened your mouth to 10, 15, 20 people over the next few months, and they all came into this business and they're all doubling their money and you're earning from them 5% over and over again. Talk about doing something once and getting paid over and over again, right? True residual income. Okay, so you have to understand that, but it doesn't stop there. This Unilevel bonus pays you up to 14 levels down. Okay, because chances are, if you're going to open your mouth and tell people about it, then other people are going to open their mouth and tell people about it, right? And then they're going to tell people about it, and they're going to tell people about it. Listen, guys, let's be honest. Who does not want to earn 0.5% to 3.33% a day on their money? Everyone does. Is everyone going to do UGC? No. But will 1 out of 10? Will 5 out of 10? Will 8 out of 10? Well, it depends. It depends if you don't talk too much and send them to a Zoom. Everyone will do it, right? And that's the key to success, guys. I just want to make sure I stress that. And if that happens, eventually in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, you might have thousands of people on your team because people are telling people about it. Imagine earning from all of them. That's one of the engines here at UGC. The third is the global spillover matrix, okay? All I'm going to say here, because we're going to get into it in a second, is imagine earning from the growth of the company. Imagine if you come in today, every single person that comes in after you is below you, pushing you up. This is what this powerful matrix is all about. And when you earn in this matrix, guess what it does? It speeds up the 200% fulfillment of your contract. Because guys, the name of the game here at UGC is the 200%, but it's also how fast can you double your money, right? And if you have these 3 engines feeding your 200%, guys, it's going to be pretty fast. If I told you you could double your money in 6 months, is this a good business opportunity? Heck yeah, it's a good business. If I told you that it could happen in 3 months, how about 3 weeks? How about 3 days? All of those are possible here in UGC, okay? And you're going to learn about that in a moment. So in the matrix, you earn a couple of ways. I'm going to show you that. So UGC protocol, actually, I'll save the bottom line for when we're done, okay? Let's get into the slides very, very quickly. And let me just make sure you guys can see that. All right. Can you guys see the slides? Elamin? Can see that? All right.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, I can
All right.
see it. So
All right.
just
Thank you,
present.
guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. So let's get started over here. Okay, so you know that the platform is called UGC. How it works. I talked about the 200% fulfillment. Guys, it's very simple. You come in at $10, you're going to make 20. You come in at 20, they owe you 40. You come in at 40, they give you 80. You come in at 80, they give you all the way down to $20,000, okay? This is very, very unique to this business, guys, because once you start understanding the power of this 200% fulfillment model, you'll really understand the power of UGC. Not only are people doubling their money, which is great, but people are reinvesting, reparticipating. And that's great also because it pays everybody up. Okay? Very, very powerful concept. Okay? We talked about these smart contracts. Okay? I'm just going to say a couple of things here about these smart contracts. The 3 smart contracts that we have is with a wallet called Pancake Swap. Okay, you might be familiar with that wallet, you might not. It's a very popular wallet where people swap coins all the time. Every time they swap coins, our liquidity fund funds that through our smart contracts, and some money is earned. Some of that money is paid to us that are helping people raise or who are telling people about it to raise the liquidity pool. Okay, so this company, a lot of people say, oh, I got involved in a company and you had to bring in 5 people and it was strictly a money game. Yeah, guys, those companies are short-lived. Here, there is a concrete a piece of the machinery here that feeds the system, and it is these smart contracts. It's absolutely revolutionary, guys, that we're able to participate in this. Do you know how much it would cost to set up a smart contract with a company like PancakeSwap? Never mind the legalities and the accounting and the forensic accounting and all that stuff that's needed. The amount of funds, the liquidity funds that are needed for a smart contract is $10 million. How many of us are able to do that? Well, I hope there's a few of us on the call, but I can tell you I'm not able to do that. But you know what? I'm able to participate in it today, right? Through UGC. That's how beautiful this business is, guys. So let's get started on how this works, right? Again, we have different participation levels, okay? If you participate at $10, we call them slots, right? Different slots. If you participate at $10, you're in slot number 1, okay? The $10 will become $20. If you participate in $20, you are in slot 2. $20 become $40, and so on, all the way to slot 12, where $20,000 becomes $40,000. Is there a way of you starting at $10 and going all the way to $20,000? Of course there is. When you get $10 and you double your money, reinvest the 20. Double the money, reinvest the 40. Double the money, reinvest the 80. You'll work your way all the way down to $20,000 slot. Now, for the people on this call that are going to tell people about it, you could be a network marketer, or you could be an influential person, a pastor, a politician, a businessman, whatever it is. You're influential with your community. You're going to want to get started on a few of these levels all at the same time. And in a second, I'm going to show you why, because you're going to earn from these different investments. Okay. So I always suggest people that if you want, you could start at $10 and test the system for a few days, a few weeks. It's up to you. But when you do come in, go in as high as you can. Okay. If you have $640 that you want to invest in your new business startup, because that's what you're doing, then put in $640. And if you have $640, I wouldn't advise you to just put it in 640. I would advise you to buy a 10, a 20, a 40, an 80, a 160, and a 320. That equals 640, but now you're in 6 different monolines earning money every day. Okay, guys? Whether it's from your daily profits, whether it's from your Unilevel, or whether it's from the matrix, okay? So just remember that each one of these slots has its own monoline, and each one of these slots pays out its own 0.5% to 3.3% a day, okay? Let's move on. Now, I talked to you about people telling people about this, right? I started, the account that I'm going to show you here today is not even my main account. That one's under my wife's phone. But this account here today, I put 3 people under this account, okay? 3 random people that I knew that got started. I put them under this account. Even this account that I'm not working is over 100 people, Okay, that's what happens. And I'll show you that. I'm not just saying words. I'll show you that in a second. But that's what happens in this business. So on my level 1, I have 3 people. I'm earning 5% when they invest, when they participate, and when they reparticipate. I'm going to earn that 5% over and over again. Do I wish there were 60, 70, 100 people on my first level? Of course I do, guys. And you can do the same thing. Just start telling people about this. Start inviting people to the Zoom calls so they can see what you're seeing today. Okay. Now, my level 1 are the people I talk to. The level 2 are the people they talk to. The level 3 are the people they talk to. You understand how it works? And you're getting paid all the way down to level 14. Okay, guys? A percentage. Now, if you start off with 10, 12 people on your level 1, how many people do you think you're going to have on your level 12? It could be hundreds, right? It could be thousands, right? Well, imagine a whole bunch of people on your team always reinvesting to earn double their money. Remember the 200% fulfillment model, and you're getting paid over and over again. That's called the Unilevel bonus. Very powerful. All the money you earn in here, guess where it goes? Instantly and directly into your bank wallet, right? Guess where it's tracked? Instantly and directly in your back office. Guess what it's there for? To fulfill your 200% as fast as it can. Okay, guys? Because then we want you to make a decision. You're going to reinvest, you're going to scale up, or you're going to disappear. It's up to you. Okay? Let's go on to how to unlock different levels, different slots. Okay? Listen, if you're only in slot 1, okay, God bless. Thank you for participating. I think that the majority of people in the world are going to be in slot 1. We're helping people in less fortunate countries all over the world participate in this business. And the majority of them are going to start with $10. And even $10 is a lot of money for them. Guys, this is not a joke, right? But they are committing and they are starting their journey with $10. But when they do that, they have access to level 1 Unilevel bonuses. Do you remember what level 1 was? 5%. That means that if they go out there and they tell 100 people about this business, right, and they get 100 people at $10 or 100 people at whatever, they're going to earn that 5% from them. Okay? Now when they start earning money, guess what they're going to do? They're going to want to earn on more levels because their team is growing. So they're going to invest in the $20 slot. The $20 slot opens up levels 2 and 3. The $40 slot opens up levels 4 and 5. The $80 slot opens up levels 6 and 7. Now, do you remember I told you earlier that if you are an influential person, if you are going to talk to people about this business, to start on the first 5 or 6 slots? Why? Because you want to make sure that as your team grows, right? Because you have no control about that unless you're presenting and you're helping your team and all this other stuff. Well, as your team grows, you want to make sure you get paid on those people. You want to make sure those levels are open for you to get your Unilevel bonus, right? Do you have to tell people? Absolutely not. Do you have to participate in the Unilevel bonus? Absolutely not. You can invest $2,560 directly and earn your 0.5% to 3.33% a day, which is very powerful. Okay, I have a few people on my team that started like that. Then they told 10 people about it, and then they asked me why they're not earning from it. I said, because you just invested in one slot. I said, then you know what they did? They came back and bought a 10, a 20, a 40, an 80, a 160. Now they're earning on their whole team, right? So this is a really important slide for both you, okay, but also for the company, because the company wants to see you obviously put your tongue where your feet are, meaning that you're walking the walk, and you're actually not just raising investment, you're actually participating yourself as well. I love this slide, and I love that about this company. Guys, how does the company generate money? Well, you know that it generates money through the smart contracts, but it also generates money through the people that are coming into the business. But a little different than any other business out there, because not only do the people come into the business once, they reinvest, right? They reparticipate every time their money is doubled. So technically, this company is doing half the work in attracting people because everyone is going to be multiple clients, is going to be multiple participants over and over and over again. So you can see it's an influx of money. But let's say 1,000 people come into this business at $10. That brings in $10,000 into the system, right? into the liquidity pool. But this $10,000 came from somewhere, correct? Came from someone, correct? Does it not go ahead and pay everybody and pay people out? Of course it does. Look, someone's writing on the screen. Let me see if I can get rid of it. Hold on. All right. So does it not pay out people? Yes, it does. Okay. That $10,000 goes towards paying people towards their 200%. Well, guess what that does? Let me just get rid of this. 66% of the people, or 660 out of 1,000 people, cycle out, fulfill their 200% contract. Is that a bad thing? No, that's a great thing. They doubled their money. Okay. But now what are they going to do? Well, they're going to reparticipate. When they reparticipate, does it not bring a whole bunch of new money into the company? Of course it does. Does that new money not pay out different people? Of course it does. Does that not bring in more new money? So you could see, guys, that it's an infinite loop of money coming in. And at any given time, the company is really only paying 34% of the people, because 34% of the people have room in their 200% to receive the funds. Okay? How do you make sure that you always have room to receive earnings? Stay active. Stay active. When your participation has cycled out or fulfilled, make sure you have that finger on that button to reinvest, because then you will regain your earnings, right? You will start earning again based on that new 200% contract. Guys, listen, you might not understand everything I'm telling you today. I'm trying to make it as simple as possible, but believe me, after a few Zoom calls, even after you participate, low or high, whatever you want, you're going to really, really understand the system, and you're going to understand why this system got me, okay, back involved in this after 15 years of not being involved in one of these things that I have to talk to people about. I was involved only in traditional business, okay? So let's go on to the next slide. The monoline matrix. This is what excites a lot of people, okay? But I'm going to tell you right now that I didn't even care about this, to be honest, because at the time this was presented to me, I didn't even understand this. What I did care about was the 0.5% to 3.3% a day. What I did care about was that the money went directly and straight into my wallet, so I was in control of it. What I did care about was the 200% fulfillment, because I know that there's a beginning and an end, and then I could decide what I want to do, right? These are all, and I did love the fact that if I told people about it, I'm going to earn from this, okay? Those are the things that I loved about this business. But then I got involved, and now I love the monoline matrix. So let me explain to you how this works, okay? I'm actually going to go back to the slide over here. Okay. Every one of these slots, whether it's slot 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, every single one of them has its own monoline matrix. Okay. So there are 12 monoline matrix. Every one of these monoline matrix has a waiting queue, has a waiting list. Okay. When you come into the business, or when you bring 10 people into the business, they are all in this waiting list. So if you bring 10 people in the business and each one of them goes into a 10, a 20, a 40, an 80, and a 160 slot, right? Each one of them, then you just put a person in the slot 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I'm going to show you how you're going to earn from that in the matrix, okay? So I want you to understand that every slot has its own monoline matrix, and every person who comes into this business, regardless of what slot they're in, and you're in that slot, they're pushing you up to get into the matrix. How long does it take you to get into the matrix? Take you a day, take you a week, take you a month, take you 3 months. It doesn't matter, guys. I know we want to be in the matrix every day, but it doesn't work that day. It's predicated on how many people come into the business. And judging by the fact that this business is merely 60 days old, I don't even think it hit the 60-day anniversary yet, but judging by that fact, and soon I'm going to show you the amount of people who are invested or participating in this business, you're going to see that there is a huge, huge potential here. Okay, let's go back to the monoline matrix. And then we're almost done, guys, I promise. So let's assume that this is Marlon right here, okay? Marlon is your upline, okay? Marlon brought you in, but he brought in 10 other people. But it just so happened that your time came up and now you get into the matrix. Marlon already went in the matrix because he was ahead of you. But now you went into the matrix. Marlon will earn from you. Not only from you, Marlon will earn from anybody that he brought into the business when they get into the matrix. How much does Marlon earn? Well, let's assume that we're in the $10 slot, okay? We could easily be in the $1,000 slot. We could easily be in the $20,000 slot. But for math purposes, let's say that you came in on the $10 slot, okay? You get into a matrix. The first person that comes into the matrix, you don't have to find them. It could be someone from Taiwan. It could be someone from Hawaii. They come into the matrix, 70% or $7 out of the 10 goes to Marlon, goes to your upline. This is called a leadership bonus, okay? This is one of the ways the matrix pays out, okay? It's one of the engines of the matrix, okay? So imagine 70% every time someone comes into the matrix. Guys, what if you brought 10 or 15 people and they sporadically, they go into this matrix once every couple of months, once every couple of weeks, depending on the growth of the company. You're earning 70% of that. Guys, I know that it's $7 out of 10, but it's also 700 out of 1,000. It's also 14,000 out of 20,000. So you could imagine how much money this could be over time, right? Very, very powerful. But you didn't earn anything yet. How come? Because that comes when the second person comes in. When the second person comes into this matrix, okay, from anywhere in the world, you earn $5, the company earns $5. Actually, I forgot to mention that the reason it's $7 to you is because $3 goes to the company. Remember, we want the company strong. We want it very, very strong. We want the company to make a ton of money, right? Because if it's making money, obviously, it's paying out a lot of money. And that's what we want to see. So the third person comes in to your matrix, $5 goes to you, $5 goes to the company. The fourth person comes into the matrix, all $10, the whole investment amount goes straight to you. Guys, I need you to understand that while you're waiting to get into the matrix, you're earning every single day. While you're waiting to get into the matrix, you're earning 0.5% to 3.3% every day, every 24 hours. You know what else you're earning? While you're waiting to get into the matrix, you're also earning your Unilevel bonus. When you tell people about this business, when they tell people about this business, up to 14 levels, all this goes into your 200% fulfillment. But guys, once you enter the matrix, it's going to cycle you out. It's going to fulfill because 5 plus 5 plus 10 is $20. $20 is double 10, right? So no matter what, as soon as you get into the matrix, it's going to push you to the 200%. And are you happy about that? Of course you're happy about that. You just doubled your money. What are you going to do if you've doubled your money in record time? You're going to reinvest. When you reinvest, what happens to the people above you? They earn, right? When the people you brought in does the same thing you just did, what happens to you? You earn over and over and over again, guys. That's it. That's the business. We're going to go back here a second for 2 minutes. Close all tabs. We're going to come back here and we're going to open up this recap sheet again. I'm not going to go over it in depth here, but you guys understand what UGC protocol is. You understand the market that we're participating in with the smart contracts. You now understand the 200% fulfillment model. Very powerful because it gets people to get re-engaged, re-participating in the system, and it reignites payments all the way up. Okay. You understand the 3 engines of earning, the daily profits, the Unilevel, right? Based rewarding people who are going to help raise this liquidity pool. And now you understand the matrix. And the matrix pays out in 2 ways. Number 1, when you enter the matrix, but number 2, when the people you brought into the business enter the matrix. Remember that 70%, the leadership bonus? That's the 3 engines of earning. Every penny you make in this business goes straight to your wallet. It's under your control. It's tracked in the back office, and it goes towards your 200% fulfillment. Once you are fulfilled, you have a choice to make. You can reinvest, okay? You can scale up, which means you reinvest the amount you earned, okay? Or you could do nothing and enjoy your money, okay? Either way is good because you're in control of it, okay? So what is UGC? UGC Protocol creates daily cash flow paid straight to your wallet. not only from new activity, but from continuous reparticipation cycles that can build ongoing momentum. Very powerful sentence right here. It is designed to combine passive earnings, right? The 0.5% to 3.3% a day, okay? Referral rewards, the Unilevel bonus, and global activity, the global spillover matrix, into one growth model. And that growth model is the 200% fulfillment. Okay, guys? That's what we have here. If it's okay with you guys now, I know we're about 35 minutes in. I want to actually share with you the back office, if that's okay. Let me see if I can do that here. I'll take you directly into my back office. Now, remember, guys, I don't do this to impress you because you're not going to see big numbers in here. This is the account that I use to help people actually get into the business. But what I am going to show you, what's very important that you see here, let me just see. Come on, baby. Hopefully it shares to my phone. Let's see. And it's not sharing. Let me stop sharing, try it again. Let me make sure I am plugged in. I am plugged in. Let me try it again. One of these days it's going to go smooth. I promise you that. Let's see. Okay. All right. Always something with this, right? Let's see. Let's see. Stop share. We're going to try it one more time. And then if not, I'm going to pull out my phone and show you like this. All right. Let's try it again here. Let me just unplug this. Let me see which one it is. Maybe I have enough juice on my computer that I can unplug the power, plug it in there. iPad cable. Let's see. Oh. Do you guys see that? All right. Good. We got it going on. Let's get into our back office. So I use a wallet called SafePal. You can use any decentralized wallet, Token Pocket, Trust Wallet, anything that's decentralized. I recommend that everyone uses SafePal only because I know how to use it. So if someone asks me questions, I know how to answer them. But SafePal is a very good wallet, very user-friendly, and it's probably a good idea to keep your UGC business, the one that's going to last for decades to come, on a separate wallet, right? Maybe download SafePal just for UGC because then you can track how much money you're really making in this business. If we go into my wallet, sorry, that's the back office. We won't go there yet. But if we go into my wallet, it's a typical wallet. You're going to see the coins that you have and the value in those coins. This company uses a coin called USDT, BEP20. That's the coin that you participate in, but that's also the coin that you earn in, okay? If I click on that coin, you're going to see the earnings, okay? Now, I want you to take a look at something here. They're all plus signs because every single day I earn on multiple slots. Okay, I think on this account, I'm in 6 or 7 slots. I'll show you that. Every slot pays out every day. Every slot pays out a Unilevel bonus, and every slot pays out on the matrix, okay? So you're going to see 3 hours ago, 55 minutes ago, 8 hours ago, 11 hours ago, 15 hours ago, 15 hours ago. You're going to see a whole bunch of plus signs here. You know, sometimes it's pennies, sometimes it's dollars, right? But it really, really, really adds up. There's $7, $3, you know, another dollar. Now, I'm going to do something for you because I've been involved for about 5 weeks now. But if I just do this and I go as fast as I can and I let go, I'm still at only April 30th. That's how much money comes into your wallet every single day, little bits at a time. It is absolutely amazing and refreshing to see for once in my life, right? Money going in on a passive level, okay? Now, you could keep going and you could keep going, and I could actually keep going all the way to the beginning, guys. There has never been missed a day. There has never been missed a day of payouts. You can see $20, $10. Those were definitely Unilevel bonuses, okay, or matrix bonuses. Now, this is just my wallet. So this is the money that comes into my wallet. But how, sorry, I went way down. But how do I check out my business? Well, you go to Explore at the bottom of your screen. You hit your link. We're on the BNB blockchain, and it brings you to your back office. Remember I told you that everything is an open book here? There's your liquidity pool. If you take a look at that long enough, you're going to see that it's going to change. Okay. There it goes. So it obviously goes up and down depending on the markets, depending on the influx into the liquidity pool. And it depends on how many people are getting paid, right? So this liquidity pool today is at almost $16 million. I've seen it as low as 12 million and I've seen it as high as 21 million. It all depends on the market. Okay. And it will keep going up and down every day. Okay. Another thing I love about this is that the smart contracts I told you about, they're there. You can easily click on it, which and go verify it on BSC scan. Everything is there for you to look at, to verify. If you don't know how to verify, ask someone who's in the business. They can verify it for you. These are renounced contracts. These are not proxy or cannot be changed, if you know what that means. So you'll be able to see that over there. Here's the other screen I love. Just today, 84 new people have already joined this opportunity. Okay. That's how many people. Okay. This is so new that it's not even in English yet. Okay. It says total de membros. That's Portuguese for the total number of members. Okay. There's 3,769 people in this business, guys. Okay. Now you might look at that and say, you know what? I'm going to wait a couple of months and see if this works. Go ahead. No problem. Wait a couple of months. But I'm going to tell you that number in a couple of months may be 10,000, maybe 37,000, right? Maybe a few months after that, it's 370,000. Why not earn from all that? Right? So put yourself in a position to earn from all that. What are you really risking here, guys? Start low. Start low, okay? Start low with your funds. And as your belief goes up, your funds goes up. Your participation goes up. Right? Just do it like that. It's fine, guys. But get started today. Whether it's $10, whether it's $100, whether it's $1,000, get started today. And if you're a builder, make sure you're in multiple slots, okay? I'm going to show you a few things that are really, really cool in here. These are the slots, okay? When they're highlighted blue like that, it means you're in the slot. When they're not highlighted, you're not in the slot, okay? On this particular account, I'm in 7 slots, okay? So let's take a look at this slot. This is a $640 participation. That means that I deposited $640. I'm anticipating getting $1,280, right? 640 times 2 is $1,280. That's doubling my money. How much have I earned so far while I'm waiting to get into the matrix? I've already earned $819 passively. Guys, I invested $640. I've already surpassed my investment. I'm already in a profit and I haven't even gotten started on this yet. Now, I'm number 18 in the queue. Don't harp on these numbers too much, guys, because these numbers get readjusted every couple of weeks, okay? So everyone goes, oh, I didn't move today. You're not going to move today. You're going to see that you move, not the numbers move every couple of weeks, but you're moving every day. As people come in, you're moving up every day. So this number might say 18 and you might cycle out, right? Because they haven't adjusted it yet. So just understand that part of it. But everything you need here, guys, is already at your fingertips. This $819, okay? Let's see if you guys are paying attention in my presentation. Do I have to ask for that money? Am I waiting to cycle out before I earn that money? The answer to both those questions are no. That money is already in my bank account. Remember when I showed you in my wallet? Remember when I showed you all the plus signs? Well, those are all the plus signs. Not just that wallet, but this wallet. But this slot, right? Every single slot is earning you money as you wait to get into the matrix. Getting into the matrix to me is just a bonus. When I know that I'm close to get into the matrix, I know that any day now I'm going to double my money, right? Even though I was waiting 6 weeks, even though I was waiting 3 weeks, 3 days, it doesn't matter. I know that as soon as I get in, it's going to double. It has to, because there's just today, 84 people signed up. They're all below me, right? They're all below you if you signed up already, right? So that's what happens in this business, guys. Another thing I want to show you is my account here. Remember I told you I brought in 3 people on my level 1? Well, how many are on my level 2? How many are on my level 3? How many are on my level 8? Do I know these people? I don't know these people. I might know some of them actually, to be honest. But only because the 3 people I put in here, I think 2 of them are my kids. And of the 14, I believe it's all their friends. But anyways, every single one of these people have participated in the business. Am I earning from these people? Of course I am. There's your percentages. So now you say to me, Ruben, how do I stay ahead of my team? Well, you participate as your team grows. So if you're only up to level 3 and you have 600 people on your level 7, don't you want to earn from them? Of course you do. How do you do that? Participate. You know, put your mouth where your money is, or your money where your mouth is, whatever the saying is. Participate, guys. Do you have to do that? Absolutely not. You could stay and be happy earning your 0.5% and 3.3% a day for the rest of your life. That's fine. That's up to you. Remember, I told you, you're not only in charge of your money, but you're also in charge of your strategy. Okay? You could employ any strategy. For me, I don't want to leave any earnings on the table. If there's a penny that I can earn, I want to make sure I gobble it up. I want to make sure my wallet gobbles it up. Okay? So I am never going to leave money on the table, but that's for you to say and for you to do what you want with. A couple of other things you should be familiar with. Every time the company pays you out, it's tracked in your back office as well. So you can easily go and you could cross-reference this with what landed in your bank. Okay? You're going to do this for the first 3-4 days because you're going to try to find doubts, right? It's human nature. You're going to say, oh, I'm going to tear apart this comp plan, or, oh, I'm going to find out that they didn't pay me on a Sunday. Go ahead. I challenge you to do that because you're not going to find that any of that happens, guys. So once you get by the few days of checking it, you'll never check this again, okay? Because you'll trust. Your belief level is higher. But let's assume you do want to check and you say, okay, 21 cents. I want to check it in my wallet. It'll show up in your wallet, 21 cents minus 4%. Okay, that's the fee that the company charges. Okay, now you're going to say, oh, there it is. That sucks. 4%. Guys, 4% is peanuts, buddy. I would pay a lot more for that if I know that I have a company that's sustainable, okay, that's lasting a very long time and paying me every single day of my life, guys. I'm happy to give this 4%. But in a second, I'm going to show you a video. Hopefully it plays. But I'm going to show a video of what they do with a portion of that 4%. Okay, they don't just take it and say, yes, we're making money. What if I told you that already in 60 days of existence, they opened up their first charity and foundation? They're helping feed children, underprivileged children all over the world, including Mexico and Venezuela. They turned on the lights at a school in Venezuela for the first time in 4 years the other day. Okay, that's what our charity is doing. And it comes from that 4%. Okay, they didn't say we're charging you 4% plus 1% for the charity. No, it comes back off of that 4%. So you can feel good that you're helping people, you're helping the world. One other thing I want to show you is there's a thing called the dashboard over here. In this dashboard, you're going to see a couple of amazing things. Remember I told you you could participate in the 10, 20, 40, and $80 levels? Right. What if I told you that you could participate 5 times in each one of those levels? So you can actually own 5 slots in the level 10, 5 slots in the level 20, 5 in the 40, and 5 in the 80. That's it, just up to 80. So you can own those slots. Why would you want to do that? Right? I know you're asking yourselves that. Why would you want to do that? Well, I'm going to ask you a simple question. Based on what you saw here so far, do you think more people around the world are going to start at 10, 20, 40, and 80? Or are going to start at $20,000? Well, the answer is clear, right? More people around the world are going to start at the 10, 20, 40, and 80. No question about it. And if those are the slots that are getting that are gaining all of the traction, guess what happens to you and everyone else who's already in those monolines? They get pushed up. They get cycled out. They fulfill their 200% contract faster. So the company said, you know what? Let's allow people to have 5 horses in each one of those slots, 5 horses in the race. So you have 5 separate positions that you're earning the 0.5 to 3.3% a day. You're earning the Unilevel on your whole business, and you're earning on the matrix every time you or one of your positions or one of the people you talk to get into the matrix, guys. That's how powerful this thing is, guys. And if I just shoot over, I'll show you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Each one of them has earnings. Each one of them, this one has already completed, which I keep forgetting to go back and repurchase. But anyways, slot 2, you have 5 horses in the race, which I do. Another cool thing here is that there's a countdown here, a live countdown on when you will receive your next return, your next profit of 0.5% to 3.3% a day. Every single one of these has a countdown. So if you were like me the first couple of days, you're going to say, okay, I'm going to set my alarm for 7 hours and 59 minutes, and I want to see if it's true, right? Alarm goes off, check the phone, it's in my bank. You want to do the same, you can do the same, or you can take my word for it. It's up to you guys. So basically, guys, that's it.